The Sixers backcourt is taking over the league. Everyone is on notice. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers podcast, live from the Xfinity Lounge. Derek, Kyle, I'm Devon. Bree is the president of basketball operations. Good to see all of you joining in right away here in the show. We are presented by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365. And while you're here, got to do it. Do us a favor. You guys have been fantastic with this one. Hit the like button. Hit that like button and hit that like button. Tell everybody else in the office, wherever you are, to hit the like button. And while you're at it, get those subscribers numbers up as well. Keep having those numbers going up, folks. We really appreciate it. Please subscribe to our channel right here at PHLY Sports and, of course, PHLY Sixers. We got a lot to talk about. Still, your undefeated Philadelphia 76ers.
Hard to believe. Back
at it tomorrow on the floor for a NBA Cup game against the Boston Celtics in South Philadelphia. Pre-game show starts at 6:30. Derek and Kyle will be at the arena. Rich, myself, Bree will be here tomorrow for your pre- and post-game. So we hope to see you all here with us on the pre-game show starting tomorrow at 6:30. But Kyle, we got to start and talk about what everybody is talking about, and that is the red-hot Philadelphia 76ers, but specifically zeroing in on the backcourt and how good they have been. That is Tyrese Maxey, right now leading the NBA in scoring at 37.5 points after another big performance in their comeback win over Washington. And while a down scoring game for VJ Edgecombe, he still did enough to help them, contributing to the victory against Washington on Tuesday. And how good this backcourt has started things off. Maxey, we've seen it before, but to have the running mate that he hasn't had since James Harden, quite honestly, and even this one is being discussed differently because of what it could mean for the future.
The long runway ahead.
Absolutely.
Of these two,
This team, these two guys in particular, they are at the top of the conversation for the NBA right now.
And I was just very struck. So we all had a nice full off day yesterday after a back-to-back 3 and 4 nights. And during that off day, the space was filled by, number one, in the Discord, we had a long argument about what constitutes Philadelphia and the boundaries of the city and who could consider themselves Philadelphian. But number two was just looking around at the national landscape and seeing how much attention is on these guys right now. After an offseason where a lot of the bluster, a lot of the conversation was, we don't know what to make of these guys, or we don't care about these guys, or, well, I'm just not buying in on the Sixers no matter what they show, right? So yesterday, VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey do an interview together on Inside the NBA with the fellas over there. VJ gets made fun of for his dorm room white walls that he's operating on, which that was a very funny moment. Hey, he's locked in. He's very serious about his basketball and is too busy to worry about the other nonsense. So you see that. Today, as we arrived for practice, Tyrese and VJ did a sit down with people from the NBA this was a specific, it looks like it'll be a segment for, I don't know if it's for Friday or some kind of upcoming game, that those will be featured once again as part of a national segment, national broadcast. And you're just sitting there like, man, this is only 4 games in for these guys. They've been so impressive together and have complemented one another so well that people are already getting so far ahead of themselves. Like, hey, they're the best backcourt in the NBA, or they're going to be the best backcourt in the NBA by next year, 2 years from now, whenever it might be. And while we all had high hopes for Maxey and Edgecombe together, I think seeing how fluidly and how effortlessly it has come together offensively has been really impressive, because I think what we focused on during pre-draft and during the immediate period after Edgecombe got selected was defensively he fits Tyrese Maxey hand in glove, because he can take the top assignments. He's versatile against 1s and 2s. That allows Maxey to go on a lesser assignment, hide in the corner, wherever you might be, and then Maxey will be the engine of the offense, and VJ gets to play more of a secondary role. And instead, the defense has been a tire fire for everybody so far, unfortunately, and we'll probably get to that at some point later. But both guys have gotten to share the ball and play off of one another in a way that looks like they've been together for years, right? We keep hearing about VJ Edgecombe does not look like a rookie. You're hearing that from the outside. Heard it today at practice from Trendon Watford. We've heard it in media sessions from basically every Sixers player. And you're just struck by the fact that this style of offense that they're playing, where they frankly look a little bit like the Celtics have played basketball in past years on the wing, where they look at Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and say, who's got the weaker matchup? If I have it, I'm attacking that guy. If you have it, I might try to break my man down once, might call for a handoff or a pick and roll or whatever it might be. And if the initial look is not there, the second guy is coming over from the weak side, coming to the ball, and then they're getting into their stuff, right? In the Boston game, it was against Peyton Pritchard. Orlando didn't really have anybody to hunt, right? But they still found some openings in there. Charlotte, Washington, there was always somebody on the floor you felt confident one of those guys could attack. And it has just looked so easy for them that you sit here and think they could be scoring together 50, 60 points a game easily when they get to their peak, which is a crazy thing to think.
Well, they are scoring 60 points per game.
Well, I think we all assume it'll level out a little bit for both the 37.5 point per game scorer and the rookie who's scoring 20-something points a game.
We'll see. No, I think that's fair. No, it really is. And, look, I think conceptually, like, the fit was always strong. You said, all right, VJ, like Kyle said, can take the toughest assignment. Not sure he's there yet. I think he's got some growth to do on that end. Being a plus defender as a guard, we always said it, is tough. Even for a kid with a lot of physical tools and intangibles and effort, there's still a lot to learn. And I certainly think VJ's effort has been fine. I think he's got some technique to learn and some matchups and some tendencies to learn. And I think he will get better, frankly, in the weeks ahead, much less the years ahead. And then beyond that, there's the extra ball handler. And I think that's probably where VJ has impressed me the most, both in Summer League and here, to average 5.5 assists per game and only 2 turns, and to be able to take some of that creation burden off of Tyrese, be able to free him up to run off ball, to trust him as a decision maker, and quite frankly, right now, to trust him as a ball handler. Like, I have not seen his handle really get in the way like we feared it could, and like it at times did at Baylor. I really do think, first of all, I think he's worked on it a lot, and he'll continue to work on it over the years. But that extra space, not just from an NBA court, but by playing, and he talked about this on the interview, by talking about a guy who's got like half court range, has really done wonders for VJ's game. So I think, he's just been able to take on so much more than you would expect for pretty much any kid early on in their career, but especially a kid who still looked a little bit raw at Baylor. For him to step into there, to be able to run that offense, to be able to take that toughest assignment, to launch, quite frankly, he's shooting, I think it was 5.3 or 5.8 catch and shoot threes per game so far. Per game. And he's making them at 43.5%. To be able to be that kind of a confident, and look, I assume at some point he's going to go through and hit a dry spell. I assume he's going to hit the rookie wall. All of a sudden, the legs on those jumpers aren't quite going to be what they are now. But for him to be confident enough, just forget the 43.5%, for him to be confident enough to take 5.5 per game is absolutely wild. And he is just doing so many different things at a level that's higher than you would have expected coming in. And it's come so quickly that not only are you seeing sort of like a concept of what they could be, you're seeing it actualized right from the jump. And it is something that I'm very excited to watch play out. He is still, I'm going to say this, he's scratching the surface. And I don't mean that he's like, he's averaging 22. He's going to average 30 in 2 years. I mean, we all understand that he's going through a little bit of a hot spell right now. He's probably going to come down to earth. The decision-making is going to improve. Like, he might not end up being more effective, but he'll grow into a version that's more sustainable. And I'm excited to see that version in the years ahead.
And the guys talked about, especially Kyle bringing up the Inside the NBA crew and what they thought about this team. We also have more national people discussing how good it is, starting with our teammates at DNVR, Adam Morris and Tim Legler, of course, of AllCity Network and ESPN, who calls the games for ESPN. Those two had shared their thoughts about where they have seen and what they have seen from the two guys in the backcourt for the Sixers. Let's let you hear what they had to say on the AllCity NBA podcast.
They play 4 guards. I mean, what they like to do is they like to roll out Grimes, Oubre, Maxey, and Edgecombe. Sometimes it's Edwards, but they like to roll out 4 guards and 1 big. Well, Embiid is a perfect guy for that because you can spread out with shooting and with speed, guys that are going to get around you one-on-one on kickouts, and you can run pick and roll with a huge screener who's also a pop threat. If you just say, okay, it's not Embiid's team, I do think he has to get better defensively, but it's not Embiid's team, but he is part of that system. I look at that and say, yeah, that's hard to guard. Quick guards who can get to the rim, 4 of them. There's not teams with 4 defenders that can keep those 4 guys in front.
I'll add on to what Adam is talking about, not the Embiid part, just more so of, we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But now with those 2 standing out, but also what we've seen from Quentin Grimes, we'll talk about Jared McCain on the other side as well. But the 4 guards and just the fact that all of that can work in a lot of different ways, starting with those 2.
Yeah. And the nice thing is that these are easy guys to fit and play with, right? Because VJ is a high-level two-way player. At least we expect him to be a high-level two-way player. I think the defense has not delivered so far, but that's very typical for a rookie. But Tyrese Maxey, despite the fact that he is a high-usage scoring guard, is someone that you can run off screens, is someone that you can take advantage of as a even primarily off-ball player for long stretches of games. And so with someone like Quentin Grimes, for example, someone like Jared McCain, someone like Paul George, when we expect him to come back in the next week or 2, there are opportunities there to get yourself into a rhythm, to, as Nick Nurse said in the preseason, touch the ball, feel involved, and get, a minute, 2 minutes, 90 seconds here and there where you get to control the offense a little bit. You get to get into your touches and your bag. I mean, we saw Trendon Watford after being out, a month, maybe over a month. I don't know the exact date that the hamstring tightness started, but missed the entire preseason. He told us at practice today, he had exactly 0 reps with Joel Embiid before that game and 0 reps with basically anybody on that team in a meaningful way. And he comes back into the game, back into the team, and he's immediately being asked to be a pick and pop, pick and roll ball handler. Got Joel a wide open practice shot. He got a cross match against Trey Johnson on the block a couple times, and VJ Edgecombe on the first one immediately recognizes it and says, I'm getting him the ball. And I think part of what has been so exciting about this early portion of the Sixers schedule, the Sixers season, is that neither of Maxey or Edgecombe is going out there thinking, this is all about my touches, this is all about me getting the ball at my spots. It's how do we create good offense? I think one of the great examples for VJ in transition was there was the one outlet to Grimes in, I don't remember if it was the Charlotte game or the Magic game, where I don't think Jabari Walker saw the outlet and VJ's calling for it and he says, give me the ball. He takes it real quick and he throws the pass. He's always looking to get other people involved. So it's not always when a rookie comes into a team, he's scoring 22 points a game. He's had a huge role in the offense. Sometimes it can be tunnel vision. It's a guy trying to establish himself. I need to get to my spots, and you lose sense of everything around you. VJ hasn't done that. He's played team first, team-friendly basketball. Other than some shots here and there, he is largely playing within the flow of the offense. I think Maxey does that too, but also has that understanding a superstar needs to. Sometimes there are stretches of the game I just need to take over and forget all the other guys. But it has created this environment where there's room for everybody to eat. Kelly Oubre, we've talked about a lot, has felt at home and has been a situational attacker for this team. And so as people have raised concerns about how do you integrate Paul George? What does it look like for Jared McCain? And at the highest end, what do you do with Joel Embiid? I just don't share those concerns because of how these guys approach and play basketball and because of how valuable they still are off the ball. With Maxey, it's the shooting. With VJ, it's the cutting, it's the movement. It's always finding pockets of the defense to slide into, to cut into, whatever it might be, in order to create the best possible shot for the team. It's a huge reason that the offense has gotten off to this hot start. And even as the shooting tails off a little bit, it's why I'm confident that they're going to be able to sustain this at a high level, just maybe not at this level.
You know, Kyle, up until the point where you said it right there, I hadn't even thought that a lack of tunnel vision should be something we should consider with the 3rd overall pick. Definitely didn't cross my mind with any of the prospects we were looking at.
Here we go.
I didn't say anything.
Here we
I'm
go.
just saying it was a good point by you.
First pause of the day, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. How real is this? How sustainable is this with this backcourt? How far can they go with these two leading the charge? And where does Embiid fit in, and others as well, as they continue on 4-0 right now, looking to improve that record to 5-0 on Friday against the Boston Celtics? How sustainable is it all? We'll discuss it when we get back. Hanging out with you on a Thursday, our only 3 p.m. show of the week. Basketball, basketball, basketball. So much easier when it's fun and you get good basketball and you get W's out of it. We're discussing it all right here, hanging out with you on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by, I'm going to tell you on the other side. Our good friends from Bet365, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Big time baseball being played, obviously, for the championship. Toronto up 3-2. Maybe you had them winning the championship and you already had taken those wagers beforehand, but you know what? You said, I got to jump in at Bet365, but I didn't do it. Well, now you can get in there. Look, they got the lead. You can go ahead and jump on in at Bet365. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. You get an early payout offer in the MLB. If your team goes up 5 runs ahead, with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. That was a 5-run lead last night as well. How about Thursday night football? Thursday night touchdown. You get that, placing a qualifying offer, parlay bets totaling $20 or more on tonight's game, and get bonus bets for every touchdown. And if you are a new customer, you get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you bet $5. Sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $300 in those bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And guys, obviously there is a ton of excitement around this team right now. Eventually you're going to go over to a friend's house, somewhere else to watch the game. Just make sure you've scouted their setup before you get there, because the last thing you want is to get there, you sit down, you've got your chips and dip, and next thing you know, it's lagging, it's buffering, can't watch the game, running for your phone, trying to get anywhere else, because you want to make sure that if you are going to call yourself a basketball fan, you have to have Xfinity so you have a great watching experience. It's the ultimate sports destination where you can find the best games and your favorite teams all in one place. And the way that you watch is next level. You've got all the action right in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. It's so clear that it feels like you're in the arena. On top of that, you got real-time notifications and live stats right on your TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Bet365. Make sure you hit the like button while you're in here hanging out, everybody. We know you're at work or just getting off or whatever you're doing. Just tap that like button to show us how much you love our show here that we give to you. Also, little practice notes from today as well, courtesy of one Kyle Neubeck on his Twitter account. And make sure you go follow Kyle on his Twitter account. Look at that guy getting up some shots. Paul George. Kyle, looking pretty good.
And what is not shown in this video, as we were getting ready to talk with Nick Nurse, Adem Bona, Trendon Watford, was the contingent that spoke today. Paul was going through some more intense work, right? Pull-up jumpers, some work around the basket on drives. Obviously, they all close their workouts with free throws to send it off. And physically, I continue to say he looks good to the point that I'm confused as to why he's not on the floor playing for this team right now. I know there was a recent report from Jake Fisher alluding to the fact that he should be back within the next week or two.
I think he said week plus was his official wording.
Yeah. I'm not going to dunk on our guy Jake here, but we could maybe narrow it down a little bit there. I'm going to say next week or two. If you say week plus, that could technically mean almost anything. So to my eye, he looks like a guy who's ready to get back in the mix, but that's been my eye for weeks now. So I don't exactly know what the holdup is other than conditioning stuff.
Absolutely. Well, good to see him again. Where's the jar? Bree, I might need $1.
Ramping it up.
Good to see him ramping it up to get ready to return to his undefeated teammates, the Philadelphia 76ers. Right now, though, let's also get into The Future is Bright, presented by Shady Rays. Visit shadyrays.com because the future is bright for one. Jared McCain, the Philadelphia 76ers. Earlier today, about 2 hours ago, Mike Scotto of Hoops Hype put out a report that the Sixers were exercising the third year. Derek at $4.42 million, the team option on McCain for his third season for the 26-27 campaign. The Sixers later put out a press release stating that very fact, that they have picked up the option. And this was no surprise that they were going to pick up this option.
No, this was one where you didn't even need the report. Like, you were just sitting around waiting. All right, when are they going to officially announce it? Because it is one of those foregone conclusions. This is the third year of the rookie scale contract. With those first round picks, first 2 years are guaranteed. Third, fourth year are team options. So he'll be, like Devon said, under that $4.42 million contract next year. And then the 2027-28 season, there's an additional team option, which is something in the $6.6 or $6.8 million range. That is the standard first round contract. Nothing real earth shattering here. Like I said, foregone conclusion was always going to happen, even if he wasn't playing at that rookie of the year level like he showed last year. Even if he was a normal first round pick or normal second year player, this is what it always happens. But
And Bree, we have a quote graphic we talked to Nick Nurse today at the facility, and this is what he had to say. He's worked extremely hard on a number of fronts to get back and play. Think from a conditioning standpoint, think he's going to be in a good place. He's taken, as of the last couple of days, lots of shots, high volume attempts, making them like he normally does. That's Nick Nurse on Jared McCain. And I will add, Nick Nurse did say it's still very early. They have not. So Jared was a full participant in practice today, but the full practice today was very light. They were coming off a back-to-back. They had the off day on Wednesday. So this was not a full contact practice. It's just Jared going through probably some staging and walkthrough type of deals, maybe some 3 or 5 on zeros, but there was nothing that was 5 on 5 full contact. And Nick said, we have to get him into some contact drills. That means he's probably going to have to go through a couple of real practices at least before he's back out there. So I would temper expectations about an immediate return. I would say certainly he's not going to play Friday against Boston or Sunday against, why am I blanking on who they're playing? Brooklyn on Sunday. After that, perhaps there's an opportunity for Jared to get back in the mix for this team. So,
and there's a back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes. So week. Maybe after that, there's not a lot of room in this early part of the schedule for practices. So if he gets 5 on 5 work, more than likely that'll be against staffers in the next week.
Yep.
And we know that that's part of their words, return to play program for a lot of these guys. So the schedule might put some limitations on Jared. The good thing is, because it was a hand, he's been able to keep the cardio and the legs and everything up to speed. And so hopefully it's not a long reintegration process.
Good to see the news already dropping on McCain and seeing him back at practice and what Nick Nurse had to say, just getting back involved. And we'll see him hopefully sooner rather than later, and recovering from that thumb injury. Still looking like, even though the videos that we've seen, still knocking him down like Jared McCain is known to do. What did he shoot? 38% in his rookie season, somewhere around there?
Sounds about right.
In the 23 games that he played. So they could still use that, especially with the defense that they allow, how many points they allow.
They're already allowing so many points. Nobody's going to impact it in a negative way.
Just add more points. Add more points on your end since you're giving up points on the other end.
At some point, we do have to have that defense podcast. We'll wait until they lose a game, though.
We thought it was going to be the other day.
And by the way, that was something Nick Nurse was asked about today. There were a few questions, including one from me, about the defense. His overarching thought on that was, it's too early to make conclusions on anything. And I said, I wanted to be like, I can conclude your defense sucks right now. We can all see that. I know he sees that. I think where you really need to drill down is in fourth quarters, they've been able to make big comebacks in part because they can get stops. So there is the possibility that a at least average defense is in there. By contrast, the third quarter has been a total disaster. So for right now, at least on the coaching side and on the team side, they're playing it off as we just don't have enough data yet. I would say there's enough data to say you should be concerned.
Tighten it
and
up.
what you don't want to have happen is the team is 4-0 and the vibes are high, but you let things slip because you're focused on the fact that the results are there. And once the shooting craters a little bit, as it naturally does during a season, that will catch up to you. So stay tuned there. But they absolutely, I'm sure, I know from talking to people, I'm pretty sure they know that the defense has to improve. And I do think they believe Joel and a returning PG are going to help out there eventually.
The future is bright for Jared McCain, and that is presented by Shady Rays. Visit shadyrays.com so you can, too, look very cool as you represent your team in that 4-0 record that they currently have. All right, let's keep the conversation going, though, with the guards. How sustainable, though, Kyle? As we talked about a lot of things that's going on, we feel like Edgecombe is going to take a step back. Tyrese Maxey is not going to continue to shoot 70% from the three-point line and average 37.5 for the full year. So how sustainable and how much of a winning formula is it with those two there being there and just kind of coming down to earth, but more of what we thought it would be, where Maxey is in that still 26, maybe high 20s, close to 30-point range, and VJ Edgecombe leveling out a little bit more how sustainable it is and leading to victories once they really do start to get these guys back in the mix.
Well, yeah, it's not sustainable at this level. If it is, they're going to win 8 titles.
99-0.
There's just nobody rational can look at what they are doing right now and say, this will continue forever. If it happened, they go undefeated, 99-0, yada, yada, yada. I think what's important is that the style that they're playing is sustainable. It might not be these guys every single night. It might not be VJ for long stretches of this year because he is going through 82 for the first time. I think the fact that they have so much shot creation on the team now compared to last season where you're playing long stretches of the game where it's Reggie Jackson and Kyle Lowry and Caleb Martin, who had all kinds of issues last year, that you have all these 20, 24, 25. When Jared comes back, he's 21, I think?
Young.
I'd have to
He's young.
underline the young part. The fact that you have all these guys with real off-the-dribble juice, with real ability to stretch teams out as shooters, the offense doesn't have to be overly complicated. And that, when we talked in the offseason about this team, we've talked about Nick Nurse many times up to this point, that his base level, his desire for offense is in that Mike D'Antoni school of thought. It doesn't need to be overly complicated. You put the ball in the hands of your best offensive players, you give them openings, space, you play fast, and that's going to lead to productive offensive results. When you're running the offense through old and or unproductive players, that style doesn't work. But right now, with the depth they have in the backcourt, with the ability to turn the ball to Joel Embiid in the post or as a pick and pop shooter, Paul George comes back. He can give you some on-ball creation, but also just high-level floor spacing and shooting. Jared McCain, everything he brings to the table. The offense can and I think should be very, very good the rest of the way. If Tyrese Maxey is scoring 30 or 28 points a game instead of 37.5, I still believe, and I think most people at this point probably believe, there is a clear path to this being a very good team. And that's why the defensive stuff is so important, because when they do cool down, when they do settle into maybe what more of their normal lines will be, you have to get stops more regularly. You have to run back in transition and be more whole, be more connected in that way. And you need the rim protection. It can't just come from a Dembona in a 15-minute stint, 10-minute stint at the end of the game. It's got to be from Joel. It's got to be better from Drummond. Drummond's been a good rebounder, but the rest of the stuff is a little bit MIA so far. That's where the defense is really going to come into play, to make sure that this doesn't go from, hey, vibes are high and they're shooting 40, VJ shooting 43% on catch and shoot threes and Maxey scoring 1 billion points a game, the defense is what gets you from 4-0 hot start to near the top of the Eastern Conference with lesser offense.
Yeah, look, your top 4 scorers right now are shooting 47.4% from 3 on 9.5 attempts per game, 42.9% on 7, 45%, and 48.1%. One of those is a rookie in VJ Edgecombe. Another one is Kelly Oubre, who is like a low 30s
That's what I was going to
three-point
ask.
shooter.
Was Kelly Oubre involved in there?
They're currently like they're number 1 in the league in 3-point percentage at 41.9%. Is it sustainable? No, of course not. Now, you're getting Jared McCain back. You're getting Paul George back. You're getting Paul George on defense, which I think is going to be, everyone's going to focus. We spent all of last year and all of the summer complaining he wasn't aggressive enough. He wasn't, putting his thumbprint on the game the way you need him to. Well, you don't need that this year. In fact, you kind of want him to come on the floor and, fit in. Even if you don't want that out of a max contract, that's what you need from him on this team now. You need him to defend his butt off, make those open catch and shoot threes that he's made throughout his career but didn't make it all last year, and initiate when he has an advantage and know when to pick his spots. And I do think he's going to make a material impact defensively. I think that's where you need his impact most right now. You might have other options like Barlow when he comes back, who's a good defender, but nobody who can defend and space the floor. And you need Joel Embiid to find a way to impact the game in ways that he's not currently impacting the game defensively. Like there's a lot of discussion right now about like Joel Embiid and his role offensively. Meanwhile, they've got the 3rd ranked offense in the league right now. And Joel Embiid, I think, has been a pretty willing passer when he's been on the floor. That's not my concern with Joel at all. I think we're just so focused on like, oh, he takes so many shots and he runs the offense and he controls the ball so much that we've had that debate for so long that now he's sort of transitioned into a different role and lost a lot of mobility, and we haven't adjusted what the actual debate should be. He needs to find a way to impact the game defensively without being what he previously was. I'm confident he will get better. I don't know how much better you can reasonably project, and that's one of the things that you're going to have to really try to find out over these next couple of weeks and months, because right now they're just not good enough defensively. Because it's not like when we sit here and say like, oh, they're going to have regression. Like Kyle mentioned, Tyrese is leading the league in scoring while shooting 10 threes per game, making 47% of his threes and not turning the ball over. It's just not physically possible to sustain that, especially when you add in some of the other role players who are playing above their head as well. You need to make up some of that ground on defense. Like I said, part of that's going to be Paul George coming back. Part of that's got to be Joel Embiid's got to find another gear, or at least a way to position himself to impact more shots.
Offensively, quickly, I would also say that we've only seen one game of Trendon Watford, as Kyle pointed out. Hasn't even practiced with Joel Embiid yet. That's just basketball IQ of knowing who the player is, who you're running that pick and pop for, and seeing him already knock down shots before Trendon Watford even stepped on the floor in that game against Washington. And that was just a simple basketball play that is real easy to run, and it worked perfectly for their first action out there on the floor. So when he gets his legs underneath him, and then they are able to open things up when everybody returns for that scoring at least, that's going to be something to watch as well. Second break here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Embiid, how does it work? How does it happen as they continue to play these basketball games? He's in some, he's out the others. He's on a minute restriction. How will this work? We'll discuss it when we get back. Sixers are 4-0. Your team is hot. Can they remain hot with Joel Embiid in and out of the lineup? We'll discuss it when we get back right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Bet365. And I was watching the basketball game last night with Indiana, and I said, you know what? That team is beat up. They need my friends at Rothman Orthopedics immediately because they are just up and down their starting lineup. Everybody's in and out of the lineup. It's really bad there in Indiana. So if you have something like that where Indiana is dealing with that much pain, or when you just simply have joint pain or injury disrupts your routine, your daily routine, getting the right care shouldn't be a hassle. Rothman Orthopedics makes it easy, convenient, with convenient office locations throughout the region, plus walk-in and urgent care centers when you need help fast. Whether it's a new injury or something that's been bothering you for a while, expert orthopedic care is just around the corner. Schedule your appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. like I did when I had the injuries, more major than the ones I'm asking you about. But I went to Rothman to get my care, and you should too. Visit RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission.
And guys, everyone's got their favorite hard tea, but have you ever turned the can to read what's in it? You can't, because they don't want to tell you what's in it. While they hide what's inside, Crooked Tea is bragging about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. No fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. Next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, just put it back. Then grab a Crooked Tea. Zero sugar, real tea, fully transparent. You know it, Philly. Real recognizes real. So why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you.
We're back here on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Bet365 and Joel Embiid, discussing him and what he has been able to do. I mean, the fact that he scored 25 points in 23 minutes the other day, extended that 20 for that extra 3 minutes that we talked about. And we were sitting there, man, 110, 94, 96, whatever it is, should you even bring him back into this game? He's already pretty much at his numbers limit. Should you even bring him back? Well, you brought him back. He didn't score, but they made their run, and he was more than willing to look his best rebounding, where he grabbed 3 boards in that 3 minutes that he was out there. He had 2 assists in that 3-minute run as well in the fourth quarter. So there have been ups and downs where the offense has looked really good, but the defense has not looked all that great. So our friends, again, from the All-City NBA podcast, Tim Legler, Adam Mars, were talking about this in the first clip we played. Adam was praising of how good Joel's offense is and how it could still work with the 4 guards. Let's also give some credit to Kelly Oubre for what he is doing, to the numbers that you laid out, Derek. But Tim Legler went a little bit further in questioning, is Joel Embiid pretty much done? Let's run this film and let everybody see what Tim Legler and Adam Mars had to say.
He can still score. The guy can still score. He's massively skilled. He's huge. When he gets position, he's got great touch. He's going to score. I'll tell you one thing that was shocking to me watching him last night. He literally can't jump at all. At all. And that means his ability to affect the game defensively is almost non-existent. And it's going to be very interesting to see now when they've got this younger perimeter core, fast, entertaining. These guys can light it up. Maxey is playing at an incredible level right now. Edgecombe's had a great start. We talked about that, but Oubre's playing great. Quentin Grimes is playing great. They've got some younger bigs in the middle, like Bona, who had a great night last night to close that game. And so it's just good. And you got Embiid looking like he looks defensively, but you obviously have to play him because of what you're paying him. You got Paul George sitting over there in street clothes. He's going to play at some point.
Very weird story.
And it's the antithesis, complete antithesis to what they look like with these other guys that are playing out of their minds. And
All right, Derek, what do you make of all of that was laid out there?
Yeah, I mean, look, his defense has not been good enough. And like we've seen a very stark contrast to and look, Bona has not been consistently good. He's had his moments where he's been very good and he's really impacted the defense, specifically in the fourth quarter and overtime the other night. But you see the contrast when Bona is in there and you do have somebody who is cleaning up mistakes and putting out fires like the way Joel did for all of his career up until this past year. I'm still at the point where like, I don't know if he can't jump or if he is choosing not to jump. And it's really something where I'm not 100% sure either way. I think it is some of both. And I do think, I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if he's trying to preserve himself kind of thing. I think there is another gear that Embiid has. Like I said, I don't know if it's 6th gear anymore like it used to be. It might just be 4th gear that he tops out. I don't know. But I do think he is preserving himself a little bit. I do think he is not 100% confident on it. And the combination of those two things are making something that's probably a real problem look worse. I just don't know how stark that problem is yet.
So I want to talk about 2 Joel things. One, the the points that Tim is making about defense are fair. Obviously, he is not the only guy struggling with defense right now. I think the reason it's so noticeable for Joel is, one, he was a defensive player of the year, quality defender at his peak. So expectations, even as we know he is physically diminished and has gotten older, the expectations are still high. And two, because there is really nobody else on this team that could, in theory, prop up the Sixers on defense other than Joel Embiid. You can't expect the Dembona to do it. A guard-heavy team is not going to do it themselves, especially a guard-heavy team where at least two of those guys are questionable defenders, if not worse than questionable defenders, particularly if you put them next to one another. So, yes, again, the big thing right now is how much of this is just the early season, figuring this out, ramping up, as they say, and how much of it is he's never going to challenge himself athletically or put his body on the line defensively in the same ways that he did in the past. I don't have the answers to those questions. I did bring up recently, if you see the photo of him going to chest bump a Dembona
Run it, Bree.
Late in the game,
I already said
he
Bree,
clearly is capable of jumping.
Jump.
Now, whether he's going to do that in a game and on a
Perfect
regular
timing.
basis, I'm not too sure. I do want to address another thing, which there is and this was not part of Legs' segment there, but there is this idea that this guy's getting in the way of the offense or he's changing how they play and it looks clunky and all that. The offense with Joel Embiid on the floor, number one, has still been very good. He has been ultra productive on a per minute basis, as he always has been. And one thing you always have to keep in mind with Joel, particularly on a team that has tons of young guys, these guys have not played with a player like Joel Embiid. There will be a bedding in period. There will be an adjustment period to figure out, how do I use this guy to my advantage, and how do I take advantage, or how do I help him take advantage of what he creates with his size, with his shooting ability, et cetera, et cetera. Because you look at it for Tyrese Maxey, you don't see the clunkiness there. You can see the fluidity those two have created over the years that they've played together. The beautiful two-man action they had in the first half, the easy pick and pop threes that Joel is getting, the rolls to the basket for Joel, Tyrese coming off of a screen and having 5, 6, 7, 8 feet of space to drive into because Joel has leveled someone on a screen and no one is getting around it. That's something that will eventually help all these guys. All these guys will learn how to benefit from Joel on the offensive end. And that stuff is going to come. I have no doubt the offense can be good enough, and I have no doubt in Joel's overall skill set there to create the greatest offense this team can put together. It's all the defensive stuff for me right now. That's for the team. That's for Joel individually. But I reject the premise that he can't be part of it. He already is part of it. They already are playing at a high level offensively with him on the floor. It's everything else they got to worry about.
Yeah, they're averaging 124 points per 100 with Embiid on the court. They're doing just fine on offense.
Which is tremendous.
We'll keep this conversation going after our final break here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. More Joel Embiid talk right on the other side here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. What's up, everybody? Got to tell you about the good people from our good folks at Elkins Chevrolet. Basketball fans right now playing some pretty good brand of basketball. Championship level, maybe not quite yet we get there, but you know what is championship level? Championship level car deals every single day, and that's at Elkins Chevrolet, located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. It's run by three brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh. These guys are in the store every day. They're fantastic. They're friendly. They're easy to discuss these things with, working to make sure that they have a huge lineup of Chevys at their best price and providing honking good service. Yes, Kyle, honking good service.
Honking good, baby.
No turnovers, no locker room issues, no drama, just real brothers running a local business and backing every deal like it is a championship game. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy, Make your next move to Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh. Real deals and a whole lot of honking good service. Shop now at elkinschevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
And gang, we all know the feeling. You're in a jewelry store, or even if you're looking elsewhere, you're trying to pick something out for your partner. Suddenly you're in over your head. You're like, what's the difference between all these diamonds? I know I think that all the time personally. What if they don't like it? I'm spending a lot of money to get something nice. It can be very stressful. That's why working with Joe and Michelle at Bucci's Jewelry and Design has been such a game changer. They make the whole process seamless. From the minute you walk in, they treat you like family and they listen. They help you figure out what your special person will love, and then their team designs something completely custom right there in-house. Let me tell you, one person's ring, one person's necklace is not working for everybody. You need people who are willing and able to do those custom projects just for you. And there's no pressure. There's no pushy sales vibe. It's just good people who love what they do. So the next time you need the perfect piece, go see Joe and Michelle at Bucci's Jewelry and Design. 30 plus years in the game, voted Philly's #1 jeweler year after year. Over 1,000 5-star reviews. That speaks for itself. So go on over to BucciJewelers.com. Tell them the guys at PHLY sent you.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast here. Got to tell you about a deal that's still going on, and it runs through tomorrow, the 31st. Yes, Philly's big comeback. BG is back, 55% off for a Diehard membership. Your intro offer there, 55% off. Go ahead. That's just about $3 a month or so right now. Join the community for $36, limited time only, and that runs through that limited time tomorrow. So yes, you're going trick-or-treating, taking the kids out, all that stuff. Can't forget about the sign up for the Diehard membership. Go sign up, allphly.com, and just get in there on the features that we have for our Sixers conversation, where you have the instant observations after every game from Kyle Neubeck. Derek put up a story before the season started, also where you want to go check that one out, talking about Quentin Grimes and his impact and where he's involved, Tim Cato, and the things that he's doing for AllCity as an NBA contributor through all the networks here at AllCity. Make sure you go sign up, allphly.com. You get Discord access, you get events, you get merch sales that you get access to, you get the t-shirt when you sign up. Go sign up right now. The Birds are still playing some pretty good football. Baseball team is getting ready to hit
they're playing a whole new sport now, Devon. Jeez,
baseball
I'm really
team,
out of the loop.
A lot of questions there for the baseball team of who stays, who goes, and certainly the Flyers in action right now, just like the Philadelphia 76ers. Allphly.com. Go sign up and take advantage of the 55% sale right now with BG returning to the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe for another run at a championship, of course, with the big guy. All right, Embiid conversation. You know, we're up against it a little bit, so I wanted to kind of shift this one here. We'll get to news and notes a little bit shortly as well. I wanted to ask you guys this, though, because pregame, we'll have that. Rich, Bree, myself, we'll be here. All of you, make sure you check in 6:30. The NBA Cup gets underway. But wanted to ask your thoughts. 4-0, no McCain, no George, and no Barlow as of right now for Friday's game against the Boston Celtics. So we'll do the pregame and we'll get everybody prepared. But your initial thoughts as we go into game number 5 for the Sixers as they look to improve their record and stay undefeated.
Well, first of all, it's the first time that they'll have a second game against the same team this season, which is always an interesting. Okay, what did the coaches for Boston see on the tape for them? How do they come back and adjust to the Sixers? I think the thing that I would immediately say that I'm curious if they change is they are the one team so far that I felt really dared VJ Edgecombe to shoot. They spent a lot of that game sagging, helping off of him, trying to throw different coverages at Maxey, stunning on drives on other guys, and saying, VJ, if you can make us pay for this, okay, we'll tip the hat and say, VJ Edgecombe in your first game, the rookie beat us. And he did, right? He had a monster game, one of the greatest performances in a rookie debut in history. I suspect that Joe Mazzulla and the Boston Celtics will play him a little closer, if I had to guess. So if they pressure him more, that was one of our concerns, or at least I'll speak for myself, one of my concerns coming into the season was how does VJ Edgecombe deal with pressure defense? He turned the ball over at a reasonably high rate in college when teams sent to at him, when teams got into him, showing high against pick and rolls. He was nowhere near someone like Dylan Harper and a couple other the high-level guys in this class in that respect. So if he is shown that respect from Boston, how does he adjust? And how do the Sixers adjust around it? Right now, I think the good thing is if you play pressure defense on Edgecombe, one of Maxey or Grimes has basically been in the game with him at any time. Those guys are great release valves. And with Trendon Watford coming back, that's another guy in short roll situations that is more than capable of playing in 4-on-3s and operating out of that style of offense, punishing the opponent for however they play it. So how they play VJ is high up the list. And once again, how does Joel Embiid look after the first week of the season? We shall see.
Yeah. No, I mean, clearly, like Kyle said, they came in, and Boston has done this pretty much for the entirety of the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum era. Like, they will dare play, like, they consistently give up a high number of threes, but they give them up the players that they want to take them. And coming into game one, VJ Edgecombe was the one they were comfortable taking those shots. Now, I brought up those numbers earlier. 5.8 catch and shoot threes per game at almost 44%. That's still a sample size where they might just not change their game plan. They're pretty stubborn like that. I don't know if you know that about Mazzulla. He can be stubborn, but they probably should, given what he's shown in the first 4 games. And the one key, look, we mentioned before, he's going to go through a shooting slump eventually, but he has not shown any hesitation on those catch and shoot shots. And even more though, like if you give him a ton of space and you back off of it, he is able to eat up that space very, very quickly and use that to drive to the basket. So it is one where, like, if you are going to play off of him to help off Tyrese or Joel, and then now you have to close out on him, well, by helping off of him, you're giving him a driving lane. And I wonder if they're going to worry about that a little bit. But really, it's just that is another team. You know, I think they're still something like 7th in the league in defense, even without Tatum and even with the trades that they made to try to get under the luxury tax. They're still a good defense. And they've got some players, Derek White specifically, but a couple more who can really bother some guys on the perimeter. I just want to see how VJ responds. It's one thing. All right, Boston has a scouting report. They're probably going to play him differently. This is also, it's the first time a team gets to react to VJ and the first time VJ has to react to a team adjusting their scouting report. It's going to be fun to watch how he responds to that.
Celtics, after losing their first 3 games of the season, including the opener to the Sixers, they have blown out their last 2 opponents, defeating the Pelicans on the road 122-90, and on Wednesday night,
I got thoughts about those Pelicans, by the way.
Blew out the Cavaliers 125-105, and that one was at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Boston Celtics visit the Sixers tomorrow for the NBA Cup play as it gets underway for this one. So right now, they're finding their groove a little bit. They've won 2 in a row. And I'm sure they're looking to pay back the Sixers for that opening night loss. Jaylen Brown, 26.8 points per game to lead the Celtics in scoring right now. And rebounding-wise, Keita is 9 on average, 6 assists for Peyton Pritchard. And Josh Minott, 1.8 steals per game. A little bit of, when you talk about guys defensively putting pressure on, he's been a nice little addition for what they're asking them to do for the Boston Celtics. So the Pelicans, I'm sure we'll have some time to talk about that team. All we were looking for out of them anyway, some good fears numbers, because
I don't even know if they're getting that, Devon. That team is a disaster.
Yes, it is. And
but at least they don't have their first round pick next year.
Yeah, at least
people have been pointing out, like maybe
2.
we can just talk about the Pelicans anyway, now that we're on this. Not only did they trade away the unprotected pick of their own, prior to the Halliburton injury, they traded the rights to a pick next year for one another year in the future. They agreed to that swap. And the Pacers are now on course to potentially win the lottery because obviously without Halliburton and Miles Turner leaving, they're not good. So they made 2 historically bad trades potentially in the same draft for one of the greatest, at least it looks like on paper, one of the greatest top of the draft classes we've seen in quite a while. So good job by Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver. And by the way, I will add, they made that trade for Derek Queen, a big man. Forget this guy. They have Messi, who they drafted in the first round last year. Who started for them at center last night in Denver?
Former Sixer.
DeAndre Jordan. What's the plan? What are you doing?
Wasn't he just signed like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
No, like 2
2
days
days ago.
2 days ago.
I think he's played 2 games, one against Denver and one against someone else. But yes, Indiana Pacers 0-4. So are the Pelicans 0-4 right now. Sacramento Kings also. Oh no, Sacramento has a win. It's Brooklyn 0-5. The Sixers will see Brooklyn in Brooklyn. That is on Sunday, 6 o'clock start, 5:30 pregame with us here on Sunday.
But to your point about Fierce, he had a hell of a game individually against Denver.
Did he have like 17?
He got his head kicked in on the score sheet, but yeah, he was like 10 for 15 from the field, scored 21.
Yeah.
Very, very efficient. He looks pretty damn good. Unfortunately, that team is a complete mess.
Team is a mess. Sixers are not a mess. Things are good right here, right now. Let's get to the Super Chat with our guy, Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beats. First time I saw today somebody called VJ and Grimes a Maxey merchant. Whoa. He's finally gotten his own gravity. I'm not crying. I'm just cutting onions.
Hey,
Well, it's funny because up until like 2 weeks ago, people were calling Maxey and Embiid merchants. So the fact that he can now drive an offense, and look, everyone is shooting unsustainably hot, but you've got so much more depth and so much more ball handling and so many more options. I am happy he is finally in a spot where we can at least evaluate how capable he is of running an offense when Kelly Oubre isn't your second best player.
yeah, our old friend Michael B used to be in the chat every day saying, can't evaluate Maxey with $110 million on the bench. Well, the $110 million has often been on the bench, and they still look pretty good. Obvious caveat is you drafted somebody with a number 3 overall pick. You got younger, you got more athletic, and now this looks more like a team that Tyrese Maxey can at least try to win with. Maybe not always win with, but at least attempt to win games with.
All right, let's get to news and notes. Just one news and notes, then we'll get to the world famous. You know what it is. It's the roll call. Bree and I looked at this. We laughed and we said, we got to show this to the guys in the chat, the community, and everybody. Would you be willing to pay $128 for a Jetson-style flying vehicle so you can get through the traffic? Derek, I'll start with you first.
So part of the reason I fly drones is so I don't kill myself in something like that.
$128 is the price, Kyle.
For the ride or for the actual?
For the
like owning it.
actual
It only costs $128?
thousand.
Oh, I was going to say, what? Who made these prices? Were they on crack? No, I'm not. I mean, number one, I'm not paying $128,000 for any vehicle. I'm not a...
Yeah, it's
my luxury purchases are not in the car department, I would say, or the vehicle department in this case. So
that gets you to.
I'm good.
But you can go to Sixers practice and land that on Josh Harris's.
I'm good.
Helipad.
No.
You really think Josh is loaning us his helipad? I've been complaining about the luxury tax for 6 months.
All right.
Now, what I would invest in, I wish this would happen in my lifetime. It's definitely not. We need to get to the point where teleporting is a real thing. I don't know if you could put a price on
You'll end up
being able to eliminate commuting. Just like you hit a thing or you step in somewhere and you're just where you need to be.
Right.
That's one where you're going to have to go through a lot of prototyping and a lot of probably people dying to get to the point where it's safe. So that's probably several lifetimes from now. But that's where I don't know if there's a number high enough.
You'll end up in real Jurassic Park with this.
Well, dude, just like imagine.
It's accidental.
Imagine being able to cut out the airline industry. We could just be like, you know what? I want to go to Paris.
Just pack one bag.
Hit the button. I'm good.
Good to go.
I'm at the Louvre today. But unfortunately, that ain't happening.
So going back to the Jetson one, if you give me like 10 years of other people trying it, then I'll get on board. Not for $128,000. That price has got to come down to like car price. But I think eventually I would talk myself into it. I'm just not being a guinea pig on the first ones.
No.
Yeah.
That's, honestly, not to take it to another place, but this is why I won't get in those self-driving cars.
Oh, no.
There's not enough.
I tried to take one of those with Rich in Vegas.
There yet.
I'm not doing that.
I tried
riding.
I tried to take one of those with Rich in Vegas one year, and he noped the Oh, we got 2 seconds left.
Well,
nope,
let's
the heck
go to
out of it.
overtime.
Let's talk
baby.
about it. We got overtime. AllPHLY.com for the remainder of the show. Thank you on the Fast channel. We'll see you tomorrow for pregame starting at 6:30 right here on the PHLY Sixers pregame show tomorrow, Sixers Celtics.
Yeah, he noped the fuck out of that. There was no way he was getting in that car.
I'm with him. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I was driving today in the rain, hydroplaned almost because it was so bad. You think I'm doing that when nobody's driving, and even when it's good weather out? I'm not doing that. That's a hard no for me.
No.
Not doing that.
I don't trust robots in general. That's a general rule of practice. I definitely am not trusting some automated driving system. Not
Bree,
for quite a while.
Are you in on the Jetsons flying vehicle?
No, I'm good.
You're out?
I would definitely crash that for sure.
Yeah. So look, Terrence Knight says I'm crashing that immediately. Gene says yes. Dave P, yeah. SB Cole, nah. Chase Mudd, what the hell? Absolutely not. Dave P, of course. And Theo says, I want one. $128,000, and it's yours, Theo. Go for it.
What kind of license do you need for that thing?
Exactly. Do you have to take
That's
those
got to be some special pilot's
flying
license.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Where do you park it?
All answers
Josh
that are
Harris's
fair.
helipad.
All answers that are fair. I do think, like, if I saw people like flying those in real life for a couple of years, I would talk myself into it.
How
I
big
would
is
eventually
that?
get there.
I didn't see, when we were looking at it, I didn't see how big the actual
It
vehicle
looked pretty
is.
small. It looked
does.
pretty small.
It does. So I don't know.
Fuck, I look like being
where
in
you
there
park
like,
it.
oh my God, I can barely move. No thanks.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I like flying where the pilots know exactly what they're doing. I'm not one of those people. Classes and all, I'm not doing that.
My brother, is it paragliding? My brother's been trying to get me into, and I've been.
Parasailing, I've done.
I've done
Paragliding.
parasailing.
Here's the thing about
Not doing that
paragliding. It almost exclusively is offered in sketchy places where things can go wrong.
Yeah.
Not a lot of like upstanding, boy, these are super professional paragliders. Most of them are just like you're on a mountain somewhere and like, yeah, you'll fall down there somewhere.
Paramotoring is actually what I was
Oh, no,
thinking.
that I'm not familiar with.
It's basically like it's like a big fan on the back, and you've got
I like boots on the ground is my style of transportation for the most part. Something, either it has to be my feet on the ground.
So would you
or
jump out of
something
a plane?
else. Weirdly enough, yes.
Yeah,
I've
I would
thought
do
about
that.
it and I've never
And
done
that's
it.
a big.
but
This is going to shock a lot of people, but like, give me the data. There's enough on jumping out of an airplane where like, okay, I trust that it's safe. If you find the right person, I will do that.
Hell
But I
no.
need data on that. Devon's like,
Devon's like, this is white people shit.
I'm not doing it. Just like Marshall Lynch said, my feet belong on the ground. That's it. Unless it's an airplane with a pilot flying, I'm not doing any of that stuff. No way, no how. You're not getting me to jump out of anybody's plane. I'm not paragliding. Even the one in Vegas when we go to Old Vegas and it's like right here. I'm not doing that either. No. The kids were out there and they were with the mom and family and all that stuff. And they were like, Dad, we're about to do this. You're not here. I was losing my stuff back here because I couldn't tell them no. And I just couldn't do it. I'm not doing that. I'm not climbing any mountains. I'm not climbing any rocks. None of that stuff, man. No, I'm out.
and a paramotor is just a powered paraglider. So it's paragliding with.
I'm good.
Bree, do you do any of that stuff? Rock climbing, hang gliding?
No.
No?
No.
No, that thrill seeking.
I would do skydiving, and I think that's about it. Because that's controlled. I'm with a person.
Is it?
Well,
It's
as long as-
controlled in the
it's
sense that
controlled
you
as
can
much as it
control
can
whether
be.
the parachute should open. You can't control if it actually works or not.
If it doesn't.
someone's taking me. Like someone experiences taking me. That's about as far as I'd go.
Oh, man. Well, $128,000 and it's yours. Have at it. You enjoy it. You know what we enjoy? Getting to say thank you to all of you
Of course.
with the world famous roll call.
Thank you, everyone, for checking in today, hanging out with us on a now rare 3 p.m. show. Look at that, Devon.
It's the Halloween.
Did you ever explain the unicorn?
No, I did
hat
not
thing?
explain the whole unicorn of it all.
So I had no idea this happened in the Discord, but friend of the show, diehard subscriber, Attila,
What up, Attila?
evidently said during the Wizards game that if they completed the comeback, he would buy these hats for us.
Overnight them.
And none of this was agreed to. I had no idea this even happened. Devon barely uses the Discord
We're
ever.
still trying to
So
tell
he
Devon what
certainly-
Discord is. He certainly didn't see the message.
And so Derek got a follow-up from Attila today, like, hey, got something special for you on the way. And then I see the messages like, I didn't agree to this. You're not holding me hostage. So these guys were good spirits, but I'm good.
Look,
You saw the unicorn over here.
I'm
but it's
willing to
sitting
make
on the
myself
chair.
look like a fool. But theoretically, if this is going to be a bet, I have to agree to the terms. So people just don't start sending random stuff to the studio. We're not going to wear it all.
Yeah.
But we did want to be a good sport
I
about
have
this.
to agree to a
What if
bet
they
to
go
pay off
10-0?
a bet.
What if they go 10-0?
We can talk, but we'll agree to it before we wear it
So
on
anyway,
the show.
thank you to Attila for these crazy hats and for supporting us and being here and hanging out. Thank you also to Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beats, with a super chat today.
What up, Beats?
Thank you to Music Lover 31, DC Marley,
Smitty, what up?
SB Cole, Duck Holiday, 3-time PHLY guy,
3 times.
D Walt, Jaguar 2091,
That's a pretty good car.
Mike Burton, Art, Provolone John,
What up, Art?
Smy Guy, Chase Mudd, Alden Network, Martian Lynch, Public Enemy #1, biggest trash talker on the show.
Boots on the ground, Martian.
Boots on the
Boots
ground
on
is
the
right.
ground.
Thank you to Theo. Thank you to Mom's Grandchildren. Thank you to Randy Rubart. Thank you to Nunya.
None of your business.
Thank you to Ramid.
None of your picks. Pelicans.
Thank you
Hand
to
them over.
Ramid. Thank you to Headfa, Dave P, Jesse Bond, Chima checking in. Thank you to The
What do
Village.
you think about Kima from The Wire?
Thank you to, oh, maybe it's Kima. You're probably right. That's me.
No, but it just made me think of, Kima from The Wire.
Great
show.
show. I was talking
Great
about
character.
rewatching that sometime soon. We'll think about it.
Snoop is the best.
Slim Jim's man.
Slim from The Wire.
Hell yeah, brother. Eugene Ross, who checked in from the Dominican today.
What up,
by
Gene?
the way.
You didn't take us with you, man. I don't
Eugene
know.
Ross said, I'm going international. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you to Marcus Blackstock. Thank you to Jess, Val, my girl Nona,
Hey, ladies.
Rick Morse, Vic, Attila again, Lee Nguyen, Terrence Knights, Futz, Y-Tube, Win Forever, and Greeny Green.
Keep winning, y'all.
Terrence, by the way, said, Omar coming. Got to do the.
Perfect.
Thank you, everybody, for
Was
being here
Omar
today.
in Washington the other night? Wasn't in Utah. Maybe he was in Washington.
HOVA.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. As Devon said, for our first NBA Cup game of the year, we'll be back at 6:30, right, for pregame? Is
Blue
it
Court, 6:30.
6:30 p.m. pregame, post-game show for the Celtics. Then back again Sunday for pre and post Brooklyn Nets meeting. 2 more pre and post-game shows for the week. And it just keeps on rolling, baby. Thank you, everybody. On your way out, if you have not, hit that thumbs up button as Devon hits you with the foam finger.
Hit it.
Helps out the show.
Get
It
us
helps
to
me sleep
100
at
before
night.
the show is over.
It's a thank you to super producer Bree, making it all happen behind the scenes, making the graphics, pulling up video, doing all sorts of wonderful things.
She's the best.
She's the best. She's our president of basketball ops. So hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And until the next time, until the
Cup
Boston
champs.
Celtics Sixers pre and post game show, take care of one another. Stay safe. Goodbye.
See you at 6:30.
We all silly like the mayor.